Hi, everyone. I'm Kristina Nikols for IdeateTV with David Young, artist, author, musician. We're here at the Conscious Life Expo. David, thank you for taking a moment to talk with us.
It's really my pleasure. It really is.
We started off with you playing some instruments. Can you tell us
the
about
appetizer. Okay, so this is called the alto recorder. It's same as very similar to what everybody learns in third grade. And then this is a tenor, and this is a bass recorder. I've recorded 70 albums of music with these instruments with the greatest musicians in the world. And I sold
70 albums. How long have you been doing this?
You mean centuries or in this life?
In this life.
Oh, this life. Okay, sure. I've been playing these since I'm 7, and I'm much older than 7.
And you've had many experiences and recorded with famous musicians.
Yeah. Peter Gabriel's bass players made albums with me, and Ringo Starr's drummer in the All-Star Bands made albums with me, and James Taylor's piano player, Clifford Carter's, made a bunch of albums with me. Clifford actually played on this album. This is an album. This is a new album, folks, because on the back of it is a QR code, and you get an entire album of my music. My first weekend with these. These are called Nightlights.
You have a lot happening in your booth, a lot of variety of items. Can you take us through the journey of how you ended up branching into different areas and a little bit about everything you have going on here today?
This is called The Proof. The Proof. Because I was a skeptic. I thought being skeptical showed people I was intelligent. Maybe you can relate, you people back there in TV land, you know. And so I was a musician. I sold 1 million CDs, and this guy who is not alive anymore, who used to be very famous, started showing up in my life in the craziest ways. And when he was alive, I didn't really care for his music because I was born a little bit later, and I liked hard rock music like Led Zeppelin. You know, I knew every guitar solo, every word of every Led Zeppelin and AC/DC and Bad Company songs, but it made no sense to me why George Harrison from the Beatles would be showing up in my life when I didn't really care about the Beatles, you know? And so a year after these crazy experiences started, for no reason, I made this painting.
So you were having visions of him?
Well, yeah, he appeared to me in my meditation. He appeared to me in my dreams. He always looked so damn serious. Like when you're trying to make friends with somebody, normally you smile, right?
You feel the warmth usually.
There was no warmth. It was just this intense look, like the world was going to end and what are you going to do about it? Like, why are you even in my dream? Why are you in my meditation? You know what I mean?
Right. You don't think about him. So what's the reveal?
After a year, I made this painting. 3 great pyramids surrounded by burgundy, gold, and brown.
And what does that mean?
I didn't know what it meant, but can you hold that for a minute?
Yes.
After I made the painting, he appeared to me in a dream, and for the first time he was smiling. And what he said to me was, I like to play tennis with soft grass behind me.
That's a clue to something. What happened next?
Right. And I was like, well, maybe I didn't hear you right, because that doesn't really make any sense why you'd say that to me. So he said a second time, I like to play tennis with soft grass behind me. He burst out laughing and he disappeared in front of me. I woke up, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up my girlfriend at the time. I said, what do you think it means? She says, I have no idea, but I got to wake up in 2 hours for work.
You got to Google it. Like, is it lyrics from a song? What is it? Tell us.
Well, a couple of weeks later, my friend got me a book on George Harrison's life. And in that book is this picture of George wearing his favorite jacket that he wore at the after party for the concert for Bangladesh. That's the pattern of his jacket. He made this jacket because he had a spiritual experience when he was alive, and he was given this diagram. And it was so important to him, he had a jacket made out of it, and he wore it on the most important days of his life. So after I made the painting, Rolling Stone magazine came out with a George Harrison special issue because it had been 10 years since George died. And in Rolling Stone magazine is this picture of George playing tennis with the grass behind him, and my nickname in bold under his name, David Forever Young. So this is step 3, this is step 2, this is step 1. I'm at like step 2000.
This was just the beginning.
That was the beginning in 2011.
Okay, so a lot has happened since then.
And
you're like a completely different person now.
I am. I even got a haircut, you know.
Tell us the quick, I know a lot has happened, but what would be the summary of your journey since then?
Well, I started doing meditation events. And the meditation events, George, and, you know, he's still very good friends with John Lennon, you know. And George and John appeared to 600 people in spirit. George is always on my left and John is always on my right. And 600 professional channelers saw them standing on stage next to me. And the events were called David Young Channeling George Harrison, because that was the name of my book. And the psychics would raise their hand and they would say, how come John Lennon's name isn't on the event tonight? Because he's right over there. Now, what could I possibly say to somebody who said that?
You didn't know he was going to show up?
You know, I thought he was busy. He said he might not make it.
For our viewers who want to learn more about you and keep in touch, how can they find you?
David Young, musicandart.com.
Musicandart.com. And take us a quick see-through of what they can find on your site. Your music.
My music, my artwork, my paintings, these are kind of like reproductions, because what I do is that it's printed on the back, and then I add a top layer over here. So each one of them is like an original, like they call it an enhanced original.